Come to look at my mess. So we've got about as much packed as I think we're going to. So the last step for me is clean up my mess in the shop. I'm doing all the brake jobs, bearing jobs, electrical jobs, whatever maintenance that needed to be done. And we always keep emergency kit, toolkit in the vehicle, and we have all the tools we need in the trailer for this trip, but I'm making up a separate bag that'll stay in the truck. So we have one in the truck we'll leave here. I have one in this truck, and then this will be one for the other truck up in Alaska. So I always have deep well socket sets, metric and standard, shallow socket sets, metric and standard, a good ratchet. I've broken a few of them, and actually this one seems to be a great one. I got a steal of a deal on at O'Reilly Auto Parts when the brakes went out on the black truck last time. A large ball peen hammer for breaking apart brakes, bearings, bolts, you name it. A little extra persuasion. Some type of wire brush, so I'll put a little bit smaller one in there. And then I've got a tiny one that I use for the slides, brake slides. I'll have an adjustable wrench, just in case. I got, I don't know if I'd call it a complete set of open end / box end wrenches, but I got a metric set and I've got a standard set. The bags aren't waterproof. I just kind of make it easy on me. Smaller adjustable wrench. I have a small pipe wrench. I've got, I think they're called like pipe vice grips, but they're great because I can get down to very, very small or large. I always keep a rag in there for whatever reason. I have a rubber mallet, so if you have to drive seals in on bearings or the outside of bearings. Always have a roll of electrical tape. A lot of people think I chew tobacco because I have rings in all of my jacket pockets from carrying a roll of electrical tape. Let's see, what else do I generally have? Oh yeah, I keep a small set of sockets, metric and standard, with ratchet. I have some extensions. One time I was returning from the airport in Anchorage, and somebody was broken down on the side of the road, and he had blown a spark plug out, and I ended up having to take all of my extensions and then taping the spark plug to the end to get it back in and put it in. So always carry extra extensions now. I take this swivel head ratchet just because you never know when you're going to get in a tight place. And you don't have all the tools to make it happen, but that helps. Small torque set. I've got a few random punches and such. Air pressure gauge, which I have those in all the vehicles anyway. Kind of a junker set of wire strippers and crimpers. A bit of wire, just in case we need to repair something. Zip ties. This stuff's called seal all. So hit a rock, get a leak in your gas tank. It works on plastic, metal, doesn't matter if there's gas or not. Great stuff. I've had to use it a couple times, but that was back in my teenage years, I think.
Teenage years?
Oh, couldn't afford much for vehicles. Still can't afford much, but I've got a few punches. You can tell this one's been used a few times for something other than a punch because it's a bit bent up. I generally have a file. Here we go. I don't carry the handle because it doesn't fit in the bin. So I'll carry a file. They're not in any great condition, but they do the job. Bit of emery paper in case you have to polish up a battery cable or something. Another set of wire strippers. There's another wire brush. Don't need two. Needle nose pliers. Larger punch in case we have to drive something out. Pair of channel locks. And I think that's about it. Oh, screwdriver. Where's my... I have a screwdriver. That's a one and all deal. I had a screwdriver. I had it in my hand.
There's one there. There's one here.
So
that's not all. This isn't all. Those are one of each kind. Right.
Okay. So this is like a 6-in-1 type deal with flat and Phillips and hex head.
You already have tape.
I already have tape. This is kind of important. I always carry Teflon tape. And this can be used as a filler. It can be used to stop a leak. Used on an oil plug before that was leaking. Multiple uses. Oh, and I always take this with a little bit of pry on there so that we can get behind brakes and pry. Last thing. Okay, for this truck I need a much larger, this doesn't fit in my bag here, but I always carry a large C-clamp. And the reason I do that is because if we have to work on brakes to compress the caliper, we'll put the C-clamp on there and pry it in. I mean, we can do a little bit with a small bar like this, like I just showed you, and you might be able to get the job done, but a C-clamp makes it so much easier. So I always keep a C-clamp with us. And then depending on what vehicle and whatnot, sometimes I'll put like a small scraper. Okay, I had a scraper and a 6-in-1. What's that?
Gloves.
Gloves, so I have nitrile gloves here. Those are so I can handle the oil and grease and don't have to make a huge mess on my hands. This socket is specifically for the brakes on the red truck. It's an 18mm. I keep it a separate one because I've busted them before. That about does it. Oh.
The rest are duplicates.
A lighter. I always keep a torch in the truck, but a lighter just in case. So yeah, I think we're good. Now, if I didn't have a torque wrench with me, I would carry a breaker bar and a pipe, just so I can get it off. But we've got quite a long torque wrench, so don't necessarily need an extra one. Most of these tools, you don't have to have decent stuff. They can be things that pick up at a garage sale, or hand-me-downs, or even if they're a cheaper brand. I mean, I try not to do that because just as soon as I do, I'll bust something.
Which are the main ones that are the quality brands that you go to?
Well, for this type of thing, I used to use Craftsman when it was made in the USA. Now it's made in China, and I don't trust it. Well, China or some other country. Just doesn't seem to have the same quality. It'd probably get you buying a pinch today, but otherwise I use SK, some Mac. I don't really splurge for Snap-on. That's kind of expensive for what I do, but I guess if I were in this line of work, that's what I'd buy. But anything's better than nothing. You know, when you're broken down, or somebody else is broken down, you want to be able to help them. I guess I always have a pair of these grubs in there too. Although these, I'm not sure how good they do. How much good they do. They have more holes in them than there are fingers. Okay. I think that covers everything that we need. Some of these other tools that are in here are for, I had them in another truck when some of these tools are for the sawmill. Oh, this is an important piece. Very important piece. Do you know what this is, darling? You should. I asked you once before, I think.
Looks like maybe like your air regulator or something.
Yeah, so
Pressure.
this is to remove a valve stem out of a valve and or tighten it up. So I've had them in the past where they've come loose and then the tires leak and I've had to get in there with like little picks. And I said, well, never again. So I bought one of these little valve jobbers. They're maybe $1 or $2, and I've had to use it a few times, especially on trailer tires that sit a long time. Okay.
There's another little set of, it's like a black bar. I can only see the bottom of it. Yeah, you already have that packed.
So this is just a duplicate. This has some Phillips in here, torque set, square
okay.
drive bit. Not necessary for what we have. We already have all that covered.
Okay. And then you have a jack like within every truck.
At least one jack. So we have a jack for every vehicle, and then we have a jack that will handle the weight of the vehicle plus whatever we have in it, or the trailer. So the jack we have with us in this vehicle, it's a much heavier vehicle, is a 32-ton jack. That's way more than hopefully we'd ever need. One of the other ones, I think we have a 20-ton, and then the smaller, this half-ton truck, I think it's like an 8-ton. So, which people might think that's overkill, and in some cases it might be, but we've had to use multiple jacks before just to get the vehicle up off the ground.
They all don't need to be of that like caliber, high caliber or high weight, but at least more than one.
No. But the last time you and I drove up, we couldn't get it up with one jack.
Yeah.
We had to use 2 jacks just to get the...
Yep, elevate on the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the jacks, I found that work pretty well. I don't believe they're made in the USA anymore, but I think they're called Red Bull or Red Dog or Red something.
The jack is red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Midwest, they're sold at Tractor Supply stores. They're not crazy expensive. I'm sure there are much better jacks out there, but I have not had a problem with them. I mean, I've leveled houses with them. So.
Do you have a knife packed? I just see the like X-Acto or the cutting knife, but you usually carry a knife on you, right? For
I almost always have one on me, and then we have a couple extra in each truck. One for you, one for me. I have a little scraper. It's got a red handle. I must have set those 2 things down somewhere. But I keep that little scraper for scraping off rust or whatever when I'm working on brakes. I have one here that's pretty stiff and sharpened. Guess that'll go in.
okay,
What else you got there?
anything else? Good. We gotta hit the road.
I think we're about ready. We gotta close everything up, shut off the water. I guess do one last look over.
Walk through.
Maybe take a shower.
You're gonna go for a dip in the big lake.
All right, I'll go for a swim instead. That'd be better. Something else we should mention, we always have with us, is something to lay down on the ground with. So a tarp, piece of cardboard, some of these foam mat things right here. Those are great. Probably use those more than anything.
We have them
I
as
mean,
cushioning in the trailer right now, so there's
Yeah, you can always yank out your
floor mats.
floor
That's a
mats
good
and lay
idea
on
too.
those. I've done
Yeah.
that before. I make it sound like I broke it down all the time.
Not really, but it's not always for yourself.
No, it's
You're usually
usually-
helping others.
It's usually for others, actually, yeah. But there's been a few times where you can plan all you want, and
Stuff still happens.
yeah, a pothole shows up, or earthquake, and there's a crack in the road, or washout, whatever. I've kind of gone through what we keep in the truck for emergency stuff. Yeah, think we're good.
Yeah.
Hit the road, Jack.
Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more.